Before the video starts, I'd like to thank John Kulanga for the donation. Medaka, Kurokami, and Cosmic Garou, two copycats that even put Kakashi to shame. Both of these characters have achieved their powers by piggybacking off others' hard work. So how would a confrontation between the two go down? Okay, so we've actually gone over One Punch Man in the form of Saitama. And as we all know, Cosmic Garou does scale to Saitama, for the most part. And even just for a pre-Cosmic Garou transformation, Garou was able to affect the entire planet by just punching Saitama. It was even felt from an entirely different dimension. And for speed, was even able to outpace Flashy Flash, who just was stated to be able to move at the speed of light on many occasions. As well as perform this feat with Platinum Sperm that would actually get her calced around 4.33 times the speed of light. But for our current Cosmic Garou scale, he for one was able to create a Gamma Ray Burst. And a Gamma Ray Burst is a very violent explosion that usually happens at the death of stars. And how do we know this is a real Gamma Ray Burst? Well, it's because it's just stated by the narrator and explained in very good detail what a Gamma Ray Burst even is, and it's even stated to be the death of a massive star, which is accurate to our real life interpretation. With the narrative and the statements implying this is an actual real life Gamma Ray Burst, this actually be putting Garou in around the large star categories. But of course, the feat you've been waiting for, the most infamous feat coming from the newest chapters of Cosmic Garou and Saitama punching each other so hard that the explosion completely destroyed a whole pocket of stars within inside their galaxy. With pure visuals, it's a multi-solar system feat, and with calculations, you can get as high as galaxy, and at this most highest I've seen it calculated to at even multi-galaxy level. And speed is very simple. Of course, he scales above his previous monster Garou self, who was already faster than light. But during his fight with Saitama on the moon of Io, after the destruction of it, Saitama performed a feat from jumping from piece to piece by making its own constellation. Just a small time frame was calculated over massively faster than the speed of light plus, and of course Garou does somewhat scale to him before he just completely doesn't. And lastly, of course, his battle pickable abilities: teleportation via portal creation, gravity manipulation, durability negation, reactive power level, a passive cosmic radiation effect on others, and lastly, of course, is power mimicry mode. By the way, I'll be leaking all the calcs I did use in the link in the description if you want to check them out. So for scaling Medaka, I originally thought it was going to be complicated, but all I had to do was read all of her abilities. And now I think I have a pretty proficient scale for Medaka. For one, the premise of scaling Medaka all comes to Ajimu, as Medaka scales 2 if not way stronger than Ajimu, as she admitted her inferiority to her and said she could never beat her. Not to mention, she actually copied all of her abilities with her own ability the N, which allows her to copy any ability just by looking or even being used once. She can copy it. So where does Ajimu scale? Well, she casually destroyed a star in the distance just by aiming her finger at it and throwing an energy beam of some sorts at it. This can safely put her up to star level, maybe even higher depending on the calculations for it. But for the more important scale, one of her abilities actually allows her to create black holes. Even if we go with the smallest interpretation of black hole, it would be planetary. But since she did just nuke a star, this would be considered a lowball. So again, going back to her ability, she actually has the ability named Baby Planet, which allows her to create an entire universe. Yeah, kind of a misinterpretation. Even Medaka has her own universe creating ability we can see actually in one of her ability sets, so it makes it very consistent. Something also important for Ajimu's scaling is the fact she transcends her entire verse, to the point where she even views everyone in the verse as fiction. By the way, she is aware of the fact that she is a manga, even to the point where she ended her own manga before the anime could even start. In this case, even the narrator stated to her to be a transcendent character, which only makes it consistent because she also just changed the genre of the manga just cause she wanted to, and sees all dualities and platonic concepts like light and darkness, good and evil, poison and antidote, winning and losing, strength and weakness, black and white, success and failure, and happiness and sorrow as the same thing and nothing but trash to her. So it makes it very consistent that she's just blatantly transcendent of her own verse, kind of casually with all the statements and feats. And being transcendent of her verse, we have to find out how high does her cosmology scale to. Well, we already know that there is an actual universe there, so that's what they live in, but it's also stated within inside the universe there are transcending dimensions in their cosmology, so there's at least a fourth dimensional cosmology. And with Ajimu transcending and being above that, they actually make her fifth dimensional or high multiversal plus. But she also has an ability that allows her to surpass and or transcend dimensions as well. So if she would ever use this ability, which is more prominent that she has or will, she would actually be around 6-dimensional. And this can be consistent because one of her abilities actually just lets her control infinity. That should also include all higher infinities that exist within her verse, so making her 5th to 6th dimensional is very consistent. And as we've already established, Medaka scales 2 if not way higher than her. For speed, Medaka doesn't really have any higher tiers of speed, though she does have many statements to either her moving at or faster than the speed of light. But for a more calculable speed feat, it actually goes back to Ajibu. When she destroyed a star, her attack actually had to travel the distance to actually destroy the star. And there's no reason that they shouldn't scale to their own attacks. So we just assume that the star that she destroyed was the closest star to us, which is about 4.25 light years away. Now, she did do this in a very short time frame, so even if we just say, for example, the attack took to travel that distance in, let's just say, 10 seconds to get there, the attack would have moved around 13 million times the speed of light. And that would actually make her putting way higher than the speed of light. So there's really no concrete way to put her any higher, so you can easily put her at low complex multiversal with massively faster than the speed of light plus speeds. So after reviewing and going over all the stats and abilities of the characters, this is an obviously stomp for Medaka. Like, there's no visible way that Garou could ever win. You can argue who's faster in speed, but they're both in the same range. It won't be that drastic of a difference. But in terms of strength, like AP wise, Medaka is literal infinities above Garou. And don't even get me started with hacks. Like, look, the reason why I didn't even go over hacks in Medaka's section is because these 2 scans right here, there you go. There's all the hacks you'll need. That's enough to solo. These hacks are enough to solo a few verses. Even if we just left the battle purely based off in terms of like their copying abilities, let's say equalize it, okay, they can only copy each other. For one, Garou could never even copy her in general because he actually has a limit to what he can copy. He can never cover those literal dimensional differences in power alone. If we just equalize it, right, Medaka will always copy you 120% better than you. She will be able to do whatever you can do, but better. Like, it's just not even fair. It's like a passive thing. She doesn't have to like do this whole technique. It's just, oh, I see you do it, I even hear you do it, I'm doing it now. And literally for abilities, all she can do, she has literal ability that just churns you back to level 1. She could literally just take this cosmic Garou and put him back to like beginning of series baby level. She could even has an eraser attack. She can just erase you from existence. One with now she copied all fiction, but also her own previous one. She even has that technique where you just look at me, you die. Wow, that's a funny way the battle can end. Oh, Garou just looks at her, you're dead. Not to mention the absolute broken author authority and narrative manipulation she has. She could just be like, oh, well, I say no, and yeah. It's just not even fair at this point. With that out of the way, Medaka does slam, and thank you again for the donation for this. I really was sad because I know the second you donated this to me, I did know Medaka would win. I just didn't know how bad. I knew her hacks was gonna carry her, but I didn't actually know how fast or strong she was. I've only seen a few videos that I would say accurately scale without saying she's outer for no reason, which I don't agree with. And with that out of the way, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any more videos, you can always recommend them. If you would like to donate them, here's my Cash App right now. Join the Discord in the link description below, and that'll be all. Mr. Crafty, out.